What's going on, you guys? I'm Eric Ringel.
And I'm Janelle Ringel.
And this is the Reality Breakdown. What's going on, you guys? It is episode 2 of the Reality Breakdown.
Welcome back, you guys.
And we have just witnessed
shaking my head. I don't even know.
The weirdest week of, I think, Big Brother we've seen since last season, really.
Well, it's just that for it being the first week to already have, like, this much craziness going on, you know?
Yeah, so I guess we should probably, get into everything that has occurred this week.
Break it down.
So we had the HOH on Sunday, which was won by Riley. I still don't understand why people feel it the necessity to throw the first HOH of the summer.
I would never throw any comp. If you have a chance to be in power, if you have a chance to win something, why would you not? I mean, that's, in my mind, that it makes sense, but I don't know.
Yeah, I understand that, you don't want to be seen as a competition, threat, but, if you've got a chance for the first HOH of the summer, I'm taking it.
Yeah. Well, and usually the competition threats or, the athletic-looking people don't go first anyway, because people are afraid, to make a move so early on. So usually it's, the people that you're not really too concerned about, the easy targets, those are the ones that usually go home first. So I really don't understand. If you could protect yourself, I say.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing in Big Brother is protect yourself at all times, whether it's, making sure that you win an HOH, the first week, the first couple weeks or whatever.
Winning a veto and being able to, bargain with people and, I don't know. Why would you not? I don't get it.
Yeah, it was just weird, but yeah, so Riley ends up winning the first HOH of the summer, and so she kept on the block Felicia and Kirsten, and I mean, as we were watching, from very early on, Kirsten just played that game way too fast, way too quick.
She did the typical run your mouth, She was talking to everyone about everything, and, it gets around.
I think had she not gone to Cherie and to Felicia and, was trying to get them on board on top of having, her, Matt, Luke, Jared, and Blue, I think it was, or Jag. It was a big semblance of 5 or 6 of them, and I think had she not then gone to Cherie and to Felicia and them, I think she would have been okay.
I don't know, because I don't know if you guys watch the live feeds, but I've been watching. And she was running her mouth to everyone. And she was even talking and saying things about the HOH, which, come on, guys, we know this. You don't do that. Not the first week, not the second week. You don't run your mouth about the HOH. It's going to get back to them. You're basically giving them a complete reason to put you up and to want you to go home.
Yeah, especially in that first week, you don't want to run your mouth to anybody because
lay low.
You just lay low. If you don't win HOH, lay low, and make sure that your name is out of people's mouths.
Yep.
Just sit there, be friendly, learn about people, but don't go to the extent that Kirsten has gone, and now we're seeing what Izzy is doing.
Oh my gosh.
It's it doesn't endear yourself to the other
No.
house guests. If anything, I think it scares people away.
Yeah, it does.
From wanting to be with you because you're playing. It's literally, what is this, day 9, they said when we were watching the live episode tonight?
Yeah.
Like, you're 9 days in. Like, why are you playing? Like, it's not Final 3 yet, or Final 4.
Yeah.
And
granted, we don't know what it feels like to be in the house. Yeah. What's going through your head. I get it. But people have got to lay low. And literally no one this season is keeping their cool.
No.
Like,
my God.
On the live feeds, I've already seen so many tears, so much paranoia. There's so much happening in the first week that we haven't seen this much in a long time, I don't think. Yeah. Usually it's kind of boring in the beginning.
Yeah, especially when you get to the live feeds, you tend to get the very boring of boring the first week. But I think, this week, and I mean, even last season we got it with Paloma and the whole situation with her and, her mental,
well, I think that had a lot to do with lack of sleep.
Yeah, and
as well as paranoia.
And that's the other thing, too. Good God, these house guests need to sleep.
I was watching the live feeds one day, and they were going to bed as I was waking up and drinking my morning coffee.
That's disgusting. As a human being, we both sit here and go, I'm up at where we live. It's 6:45 in the morning, and they were just going to bed. F off.
Yeah. Well, I remember being that young and staying up all night. Yeah. I get it.
we're no spring chickens anymore. But I get it. You're trying to have a leg up in the game, and
you don't want to go to sleep. You don't want to miss anything. You don't want to be not included in conversations, and I totally understand.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can only imagine what it would feel like to actually be in the house and trying to keep up with everything.
Yeah. So obviously HOH competition happens. Felicia and Kirsten stay up on the block. We then get into the rest of the week. The live feeds, and so this is probably one of my other complaints when it comes to Big Brother, and we've discussed this God knows how many times. Yep. Just between the two of us when we sit here and we watch live feeds or we watch the episodes, and we've seen certain bits, or you see something that they show you from the feeds that you didn't get to see, but you're like, well, this is stuff we should probably see. Is it just the live feeds need to be revamped in a way that makes people want to really pay attention to live feeds?
Yeah, I don't think it will be, but they're so afraid of what they show. They are constantly cutting out of conversations, and it's really, really annoying.
I'm just waiting for the day that somebody, just somebody who has a lot of money that likes Big Brother, but and likes the live feeds, but constantly watches it go down all the time, and we'll be right back, or we're taping something cool for a live episode or for an episode, and somebody's gonna be like, you guys constantly tell us the live feeds are 24/7, but so many times the live feeds go down, and you miss out on so much.
So you're saying someone's gonna buy?
Well, no, somebody's eventually gonna. I feel like somebody's eventually gonna sue, and be like, because so many people buy the Paramount Plus app, and when it was CBS All Access.
Yeah, we've always had it.
We've always made sure that we are able to watch the live feeds, because we like to see the stuff that happens that doesn't necessarily always make it to TV, and by watching the live feeds, you get to see a little bit more of the strategy that is involved, and you get to know some of the other house guests other than what you see on each episode each and every week. And so it really helps you out when it comes to the...
Here's an idea. You guys like and share and comment and all those things on this so that we can make money, so that we can sue.
Yeah. Yeah,
subscribe now.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe so that we can be the ones to go ahead and throw that lawsuit out there. But all joking aside, though, I mean, they constantly through every episode they push that these live feeds are 24/7. And for the situation that occurred this week, as we'll get into here in a little bit, they literally have shut the feeds down
for a day and a half.
For literally, probably, we're getting close to 36 hours now at this point. Like, we have not seen the live feeds. We don't even, going into this live episode tonight, we didn't, typically you'll start to hear more and more conversations as as you get closer to eviction night, you'll get a better idea of who's getting ready to go home.
Yeah.
Where we didn't have that. We only had what we could go on from, what POV, from the episode Wednesday night. That's all we had to go on.
Yeah. Which, if you're paying to be able to see these things, that's,
That's frustrating. It's
very frustrating.
I think for most, Big Brother fans, you enjoy the live feeds, not necessarily always just for the gameplay and hearing the strategy that goes on, but house guests tend to let loose a little bit more. We've seen some really good moments that don't necessarily get shown on.
Yeah, there's so many things that I expected to see that I watched on the live feeds on the show, and then they didn't show it. They try to cram, mostly commercials, but they cram just, little bits and pieces of stuff, and you miss so much. There's so much that happened this week on live feeds that I saw, and they didn't even show any of it.
Yeah, they barely cover any of it, and it's frustrating for us as Big Brother fans and people, reality TV show fans in general. Just you want to be able to watch these live feeds and see it kind of carry over into, the live episodes or even the taped episodes. And for all of it to, basically mirror what you're already seeing in the live feeds, and you don't see that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think there's going to come a day where the live feeds, somebody's going to either sue or Paramount or CBS is going to drop the live feeds in general.
I think they've already dropped live feeds in other countries.
Yeah, so I do know that. So Big Brother Canada,
that's what it was.
Big Brother Canada dropped the live feeds, and they do these digital dailies, which is a watered down version of what's going on in the house for the whole week. If you literally do away with the live feeds, you might as well just stop the show.
Yeah.
Because nobody is going to then take at face value what you show on the digital daily, videos that you're going to put together, because you can edit it however you want, which I have my own opinions about how certain things were edited on the live show tonight. But they can edit it however they want to.
Then it would literally be every other show that's like that,
Yeah, it would literally be it would be their own version of a scripted show, which at that point is just screw it. I wouldn't want to watch that anymore.
Well, hopefully it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, I'm hoping Paramount knows and sees them the amount of people that literally right before Big Brother will resubscribe to the Paramount Plus app just to watch the Big Brother live feeds. And I hope they take that into account and go, you know what? We want people to really get their money's worth when they watch these live feeds.
Yeah. A lot of the things that I saw on the live feeds that I was really surprised that they did not show, and maybe it's stuff they're going to use next, I don't know. But the paranoia and the talking. So we have, the two groups that house is split in that, everyone's aware of, and then all the little groups within. But Riley has literally lost it this week. She broke down crying so many times. Cameron is playing both sides. Jared, as we know, is playing both sides. Blue is all over the place. I mean, there's just so much that they did not show.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised.
I think, and this is the way this is literally the way that the last, God, probably 6-7 seasons have gone, is they want to, it almost seems like Big Brother and CBS want to create their own narrative and create, who they want to be the people they want you to love and the people they want you to hate. Not so much like let you, come to your own conclusions. I don't know, maybe am I wrong?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I like I said, I was really surprised that we didn't see any of those moments that I was like, oh crap, like this person's losing their mind, this person's crying, and Riley locked herself in her room for a few hours crying, after things had come out, and Izzy was saying that she's a mean girl or something. I don't know. All these things are happening and none of it was shown.
Yeah, and so you're only working on the assumptions of what people say in the house and what people are putting out there, and so by not being able to see that, you can only take basically what Izzy has said and what Riley has said, and then you're basically coming to your own conclusions.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to either one of them. That's not fair to Riley, and that's not fair to Izzy, because you're basically, you need to be able to see both sides of a story to come up to your own conclusions, not just hear one portion of it, whatever portion CBS wants you to hear.
In everyday life, yes. If you're on a TV show, you can't expect that.
Yeah, but I mean, for you to be a reality show, you should
be
at
that
least
way, yes.
You should be able to at least somewhat expect that. So obviously, then we get into middle of the week, and then the massive bomb that, I think shook every, Big Brother fan.
First thing that came to my mind was how would you, idiot.
Yeah. Absolute idiot. So, and we covered this on our YouTube channel. We covered this on our. I've posted it to. By the way, we have a YouTube channel. We have TikTok. I put our shorts on both TikTok and YouTube.
If you have it, we got it.
Yeah, we've got it. So subscribe to both. That would really help us out a lot. But I covered it. It was, I believe, Tuesday night is when it actually happened. It was late Tuesday night. I said it happened Wednesday morning, which I was incorrect. It was Tuesday night that it happened. Wednesday morning was when Luke was called into the DR. But Luke was talking to Jared, Corey, and Heisem. They were discussing something gameplay related, and Luke blurts out the N-word. And have we learned nothing over
apparently not
25 seasons of Big Brother?
Apparently not.
And you have yet to learn to and I'm not blaming CBS for the fact that they let a guy on that could potentially be racist. Now, and that's the other thing too, is yes, he used the N-word, but is he racist? I'm not going to say that. That may just be a part.
Is he stupid? Well, that's apparent.
Well, but yeah, the stupidity, 100%. Yes, he's absolutely dumb as dog shit. But is he racist? No. And even Jared alluded to that, when
we don't know.
Yeah, but he alluded to it could have, just been one of those massive slip-ups, and he may not have meant it in a way that could have been hurtful. We don't know.
We don't know.
But the fact that he said it is fucking stupid.
It feels like to me, that's not a word I ever would slip up saying. It feels to me like maybe he's like a little too comfortable using that word and uses that word in his everyday life, maybe. I mean, how do you slip up and say that, not just around people, but on TV?
Yeah.
How do you do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Completely unacceptable. I completely agree with their decision to boot him.
Well, and so this is at least what I've gained from reviewing Twitter and just the people that are not necessarily like that may have some behind the scenes, knowledge of what was going on. There was talk that initially he was going to get penalized, but he wasn't going to get sent home. And I think there's a lot of corporate, what corporate wants, corporate gets. Because I feel there were a lot of people that would have been maybe just fine with a massive penalty.
Yeah, but I feel
not
like
necessarily
at that point,
expelling him from the house.
I feel like they're drawing a line and they're making a precedent and they're saying this is absolutely not okay, and I understand that. And
I totally agree with that. I just the problem is that they're running into that. It seems like they're picking and choosing who to like. So. And I did some research on this. So apparently it wasn't... It was the season of Fessy and where you had JC and Caitlyn. I'm trying to think of the PC word. JC. He was the shorter. And then you had Caitlyn, who both during that season were said racial slurs during that season as well. Mm-hmm. And they were allowed to stay in the house. And there are a lot of people out there that are going, well, wait a minute. If you didn't send those two home for the racial slurs that they said, now, they didn't say the N-word, from everything that I've read, they didn't say the N-word, but how is CBS able to say that there is a code of conduct, and we sent him home for that code of conduct?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they got a lot of backlash over that and had to make a decision. New rules, totally not allowed. I don't know. That's a hard thing as a company to figure out. How do you handle that kind of stuff? What do you want to do with it?
Yeah,
I can't believe that it's something that we have to keep dealing with.
Yeah, like this is literally in the last several seasons we've had this, where we've had, racial undertones to a season that have literally, I think, derailed seasons at times.
Yeah.
We saw it last season with Kyle, and the situation that happened with Kyle. Then we see it with this season with Luke. We saw the problems from Paloma. It just seems like that there's a portion that, like, you want to say that CBS is not doing total due diligence when it comes to...
Right? Because I had heard that apparently Luke had a problem in his past with, like, his demeanor and words and things like that. I'm like, how did they not look this guy up? Did they not do their,
Yeah, it's...
The fact that he tried to laugh it off, like, that just... Like, what the hell?
That's what made it even worse, is he was sitting there trying to laugh it off with Jared, and Jared... Like, all credit to Jared for not just getting up and just blasting Luke in the face.
He could have punched him, and I would have been like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Luke, like, Jared would have gone home, but, like, you would have understood.
I would have been like, that's fair.
Like, it at least makes sense, but... So, yeah, but, like, okay, so then getting into... So it happens Wednesday night, so expulsion happens Wednesday morning. I get the Wednesday episode that we watched, the POV. They don't cover it. I get it. That I get, because you've already edited the other episode. Like, there's no way you can really edit that in. But then we get to the live episode tonight, the live eviction, and they dedicated 5 minutes to the whole situation, and then, like, it was like they couldn't move quick enough away from it.
Yeah, it's the same thing they always do. They're not trying to bring too much attention to it, but they have to address it. You know, let's talk about it, let's address it, and move on. Yeah, that's what they want to do.
Yeah, but I get that to a certain extent, but, like, I would much rather them educate. Like, this is a time for them to educate. And
I would really like to see them do that. I mean, especially because it keeps happening on their platform. Like, let's put something out there. You know, let's do better, people. Let's have some more respect. Like, say something.
Yeah, like it just felt like, and then the editing of this episode, it almost felt like that they were trying to rehabilitate Luke's personality that led into what had happened. Like, they show this edit of, like, Luke sitting there talking to Kirsten and, like, really empathizing with her being on the block, and, like, him saying it's such bullshit that like they've basically, you know, shunned her from the rest of the house, and like blah,
maybe
blah, blah.
Trying to downplay a little that, like, he didn't mean it as racist or whatever. I don't know.
I just feel like they do too, like, let the people that make the mistake do their rehabilitation. You don't need to help them with that rehabilitation. Right? Like,
if you go on national television and you say a racial slur, you got to deal with what you got to deal with. Okay, we all have to deal with consequences in our life. Deal with it.
Yeah, like, Luke has every right to now have to deal with the consequences of him blurting out the N-word. Like, that's who Luke. That's now what Luke needs to do.
Yep.
So we get into the live episode tonight. And so they covered that for 7 minutes, which was ridiculous. I think the other big complaint from both of us tonight would be the lack of show.
I know. It was all commercials. I think we looked at the clock and eviction started at the half-hour mark, and I was like, what are they going to do with the rest of the time? It was commercials. They literally did eviction for 30 minutes because they filled in so much of it with commercials, which I get. You know, you got to do the commercials, but it just feels like this year has just been more, maybe? Or does it just feel like that to me?
It's been more commercials the last couple of seasons. I noticed it last year, you know, with them upping the prize money to... Because it always used to be $500,000 to the winner, and then, you know, the second place person gets like $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever it was. But now that they've raised it up, and now that the winner gets $750,000, I feel like that they're taking on way more in the way of sponsorship for the show, and it hurts the show in the long run because they're running so many freaking commercials. Like, there is no reason the eviction should have taken literally half an hour. And we both looked at each other at 7:31 when it came back from commercial.
Yeah, it kind of gets to the point where you're just sitting there going, man, I could be doing something else. Like, I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they come back and, you know, they show a few more people, you know, casting their vote, and then back to another really long commercial, and it's like, you know what, this is just
like, it's
too much.
Like, if you're like, this is a show about like 16 people, 17 people in a house. Like, we want to see what goes on in the house, not just you know, politely editing a segment to rehabilitate somebody's, you know, character.
I feel like there's more craftier ways maybe to run your ads or to make the money. They have the live feeds that supposedly run 24/7. Maybe,
sorry, you said 24/7. I was like, that's bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. Instead of, whenever they put the, when they have the "we'll be right back," instead of putting that, maybe put an ad in there where you could make money that way. I don't know, but the show itself should not be mostly commercials. It should not be all commercials.
No.
There's got to be better ways to fit in some advertising so we can have a little bit more of a show.
Yeah, like for an hour-long show, we already know we're not going to get a whole lot, for the week. So, like, give us something. Don't just give us a bunch of commercials and some fluff pieces. Like, give us what's going on in the house so we feel at least like we're, at least in tune with what's going on in the house.
Because if I had not been watching the live feeds, I would not know very much. If you guys don't watch the live feeds, I'm telling you, there's so much going on. And they have not shown any of it. No, like they barely showed the whole confrontation between Izzy and Riley. Yeah, there were so many things going on. So much paranoia and people running, talking from this person and then this person, and I just cannot believe they're not showing this. Yeah, it's just I really want them to figure out a way. Because, like, when we were watching the live feeds, or the live episode tonight, they did a commercial for Survivor. And what was the one thing that I pointed out to you from the Survivor commercial? Do you remember what it was? That they're going to be 90-minute episodes? Exactly. Yeah. Survivor's going to be running an hour and 30 minutes every single episode. Like, to me, Survivor is going to be able to show so much more of what's going on storyline-wise that I think that's going to be their ticket. And, yeah, you're still going to get commercials there, but you're still going to get so much more gameplay there. Yeah. Big Brother definitely needs to figure something out with its shows because, like I said, I don't know if it's just this year or what, but it seems to be going downhill a little bit. Yeah, so, all right, so let's run down. So I want to run down house guests so far, because I want to give some thoughts on... Oh, yeah, let's talk about players. Let's do it. So we talked a little bit about house guests the very first week when they, kind of did the groups and everything. But so I'm going to run down. It's alphabetical order. Just kind of give me, a couple word thought on each player. So America Lopez. I like her. I think she's kind of laying low. She's, the sweet, innocent, But I think at some point she's going to have to show some gameplay or they're just going to get rid of her. Yeah, I think she's very sweet. She's very, very nice. Maybe a little bit naive to a certain extent. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I think she's going to have to start proving herself here fairly soon. We're literally going into week 2. But she's going to have to start proving her worth. And other than, her niceties and everything else, I don't necessarily know, like, where her place at is. I think she's kind of in the middle. I think she's in with, the Riley side, but, really kind of nice and talking to, and possibly, with the other side, which may be a good spot, I don't know. So, moving on next, Blue Kim. Blue, man, she's been running her mouth a lot. Maybe I've missed some in the live feeds. Yeah, I don't necessarily mind her too much. She hasn't really done anything good or bad for me. She's just really other than being a part of the younger alliance. Yeah. And, basically being a part of the handful, which I love that name, by the way. Oh, yeah. I love that name. But, other than being a part of the handful, she hasn't
like struck me bad, but she hasn't struck me good either.
Yeah, from what I can tell, all the conversations I've seen her have, she just seems like she's maybe talking a little bit too much. You want to talk, you want it, gameplay, but she's running her mouth and talking a little bit too much to everybody. And I feel like that might bite her a little bit. But.
Oh, yeah, I think it'll definitely bite her. But, I mean, I think the biggest thing is going to be how is she going to progress now after the very first week. So moving on, we got Bowie Jane.
She's there.
She's there. Yeah, that's all I can say. Literally,
she seems nice.
She seems nice. I don't like the fact that and this is the thing, and again, this is with CBS editing, is like they pick and choose who they want. Like we've seen her a couple times on live feeds, and she's got a decent attitude and personality that I would like to see more. But
she's always just hanging out, chit chatting. I don't think I've ever really seen her, and I've been watching a lot of live feeds. I've not really seen her talk game.
Yeah, I haven't seen her really talk a whole bunch of game either. But I mean, it's week 1. I don't necessarily. I mean, that may change in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean she's laying low. She's kind of. That's why I said she's there. I don't think anybody's like, oh yeah, her. So that may be a good spot for her to be in. That she's just kind of,
kind of there, but not like ruffling feathers.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a part of the Professors Alliance, which is all the older house guests.
Yeah.
Which is all well and good. And 2, after this week, we may see alliances.
Oh, definitely.
Shift dramatically. So
I think this season we're going to see a lot of shifts.
Yeah, I think so too. So then we got Cameron. I don't like him.
I don't like him either.
He seems very two-faced.
He does. He's almost talking to everyone like he's the knowledgeable one and they should just listen to what he says and, kind of telling everyone what to do. And there was one night watching and he was calming Riley down. She was all emotional and paranoid. Everyone's coming for me. Nobody likes me, blah, blah, blah. He calms her down, and then he goes into the comic room, the back room, where where the other alliance stays, and he's talking to Izzy and Jared, I think. And he's like, man, I can't take it with her anymore. Like, this is too much. Like, I need to break away. And that just may all be gameplay, but I feel like to go to her and be like, everything's fine, nobody hates you, nobody's thinking bad of you, and then to go to the other side and go, man, this bitch right here, I can't stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just a little.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do it that way.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, and I've had pretty much the similar thoughts about Cameron, and like I said, I haven't liked him from day one, and it's the whole, he gives me the Danny Masterson vibes, and I can't get over it.
You're never gonna let that go.
I'm never gonna let that go, and I mean, I feel like it's bad to a certain extent, but like I don't see how he rubs anybody the right way.
Yeah.
So then moving on, we got Suri. Sorry, I'm so horrible with trying to pronounce that
names,
name.
I know.
Well, with her name, because I see it I can see it pronounced
so many different
ways. It's
with her, I think she's very smart. She's in a good position with Jared being on her side and then secretly being on the other side, and he's literally feeding her everything that's going on in the house and nobody knows that.
Yeah.
She's in a pretty good spot, and I like her.
I like her. I'm just surprised that, and we've seen this in past All-Star seasons when it comes to Big Brother All-Star seasons, when you get a mix of the new school and then you get the old school Big Brother. Like, why is it that you keep them around. Like, Suri has played 4 seasons of Survivor, which, yes, granted, is different to Big Brother, but she is a reality legend. A reality show legend. Why would you want to keep that in the house and give them the potential to win?
Well, if it were me, I would want to keep that person in the house to be a target, you know? Use them as a shield. Like, don't look at me, look at her, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love her. She's playing a good game so far. She's laying low. She's not doing too much, but just doing enough to, like, keep herself and to keep Jared protected. And, like, she's giving Jared such really good advice.
Yeah.
Like, when we've seen, like, times where they're talking together and, like, nobody else is around, they've done a really good job of, like, being able to hide it. Obviously, Izzy knows, but, like, Izzy's done a really good job of not...
Yeah, she hasn't said anything that we know of.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, she's laying low enough that she's not ruffling feathers, but the house still understands, hey, I'm a reality show legend. Like, I've played Survivor 4 times. Like, I know basically how this game is going to work.
She knows the in and outs of a show like this. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out with her and Jared working together. I don't know.
Yeah. Moving on, we got Corey. I don't know about Corey yet. And I'm not trying to be mean, but he reminds me of the geek in school that literally just gets his head shoved in a toilet because he gets bullied. Like, he just strikes me as that. And it's nothing against Corey. It just, from what I've seen from him, he's just so quiet. Like, for somebody that is this big speech, like, guy, and, like, the persuasive speech guy, like, I'm just not getting that vibe.
Yeah, I don't either. There's been a lot of times where I'm, like, listening to him talk, and I'm like, I thought you were supposed to be good at this.
Like, he just, like, his public speaking is very lacking when it comes to this game, and, like, I'm sitting there trying to think to myself, I'm like...
False resume.
It very well could be. I don't know. I mean...
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about him.
Yeah, so far, I mean, like, yeah, like, in the grand scheme of things, when I look at him, I'm just like, that's the kid that gets bullied in, like, school. Like, that's what I feel like he is like that kid that gets bullied all the time. Moving on, we got Felicia.
I like her.
I like her.
I think she comes a little too hot and honest sometimes, and that might bite her in the butt. But I mean, everybody loves her, so I don't really think it matters that much.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like her. I'm kind of indifferent. And it was mentioned in this live episode tonight. Like, they were talking about how no older house guest has ever won, and that they always send the older house guest home first. I was like, no, that's not even, like, remotely true, because, so, I'm trying to think, last season, who was the older person on last season?
I can't even remember last season.
Like, I don't remember there being an older, like...
What was last season?
Last season was, Taylor. Taylor was the winner. But I don't remember, like,
I don't know,
older...
I'm blanking.
Terrence was the older guy, the bus driver.
Oh, that's
the DJ.
right. I'm, like, blanking. I can literally not remember anyone from last season.
And he made it pretty far into that season.
I think most seasons, like Kevin and... Yeah,
Kevin is the one that I remember first and foremost, because he finished 4th in the season of Big Brother that it was down to him, Josh, Paul, and Christmas.
Yeah.
Kevin got sent home next, and then it was Christmas, Paul, and Josh sitting at final 3.
I mean, sometimes an older person has gone home first, but that's literally like, I can think of some times where like they lost the first comp or something and went. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was a weird. It was a weird way, and we're going to talk about the guy who kind of said this here in just a second, but like,
but I don't also think he's watched the show enough to.
I don't think he has
really
either.
know.
I think he's truly. But sorry, going back to Felicia, I like her. I don't have any problems with her. She probably needs the cool at times, but I get. It's like, her personality.
Watching the live feeds, like, she just makes me laugh. She makes everyone else laugh. Like, she's just sunshine in the house, and I love it.
So then moving on, we got Heisem, who's the one that basically said it during the live episode tonight that no old person has ever, done well in Big Brother.
And again, I don't think he's really watched too much. I mean, done well or made it to the final. I mean, I get that.
Not won it. I get if he's trying to say that no older person has ever won Big Brother. Like, I get that then.
Well, but then you really have to think about, endurance and comps and stuff like that. And of course, someone, 30 years younger, is going to be more athletic. That's just how it is. Yeah.
And like I said, we're basing this all only on a week, and we'll probably revisit this every, week or two or whatever and talk about house guests. But I don't get a really great feeling about him, but it's another one of those really indifferent, like, I don't think he's watched this game as much as he leads people on that he has.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. And I like the first couple days, I'm like, okay, this guy's pretty cool. And the more I've watched him on the live feeds, he's just more and more like paranoid and kind of standoffish to people. And I don't know, kind of rubbing me the wrong way a little bit.
Yeah. So moving on, we move on to Izzy. I personally, I don't like her personality. I don't like who she is. She's literally on the same lines of Kirsten when it comes to playing this game too fast, too quick.
Running your mouth
to everybody. And then the fact that you literally went to the HOH, were kind of alluding to alliances, and then told Riley to cut the bullshit.
That was actually kind of funny, though.
I mean, I get it's funny, but like, had the veto happened at that point already? When she had that conversation?
I think so. I'm not sure what day that was.
I believe maybe the veto competition and the veto ceremony had already happened, but like, I don't know if I necessarily go up to the HOH and start running my mouth like that.
Well, the thing they're going to learn as other people become HOH, because Riley was really like afraid to ruffle feathers and just wanted everyone to love her. Didn't want, to put up anyone, or didn't want to be the reason anybody went home, and everyone just felt, kind of comfortable. And I feel like as we have different HOHs, people are going to get a rude awakening saying things like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Izzy.
I think she gives me a little bit of anxiety because she's so like high strung and she gets very passionate and talking and stuff like that. It just gives me a little bit of anxiety, but like other than that, I don't really know too much.
Yeah, I feel like she feels like she is too smart, or like she knows everything going on in the house and she knows how everything runs, and like it just I
kind of annoys you.
Yeah, it just annoys me. Like I feel like I feel like she thinks she's a know-it-all at this game, and she's running around doing all these things. She's doing the discussion with Riley and all this other stuff. And like I said, I get it. It was after I'm almost positive now it was after the veto ceremony. So yeah, you can run your mouth a little bit at this point because you're not going up. But like, I think that could also eventually bite her in the rear end. she's going to put a bigger target on herself by doing things like that.
I think it comes down to the fact, and I think this is kind of Heisem's problem too, is that they didn't feel included and they got hurt. They got their feelings hurt. And now Heisem is kind of being paranoid and like backed off from people. And Izzy is being very emotional and like, oh, the cool kids. And like, really, I think she's hurt.
And I would agree, and I agree with that. I can see that very easily. But like, whose fault is that? Don't blame the younger crowd for the fact that you didn't gravitate towards them.
I mean, you mesh with who you mesh with. I don't know.
But like, I mean, like, that's the thing is like, if you're like that butthurt over the fact that the younger crowd did not like come to you sooner, or like maybe, you know, build an alliance with you, like, it's not always about other people. Sometimes it may be about you, and maybe you need to take a look at deeper inside to find out, like, why is it that they not come to me about potentially, you know, doing an alliance? Like, it's not always about everybody else, and like everybody else is the asshole, and so that's, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just...
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see.
Moving on, we got Jag. He's my favorite. I want him to. I want him to win this season so bad. Like, I have a feeling he won't, but like, I want Jag to win this season.
I would like to see Jag and Jared make it far.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll talk about Jared here in a second, but Jag's just such a likable guy. Like, he's so likable, and he's so relatable, and, like, the fact that, like, he is there for the Sikh community, like, and just trying to... because of the way society is nowadays, everybody looks at anybody that's different and thinks they're just, you know, a POS, but, like... He's really putting on, like, he seems like such a genuinely nice person.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what has made me gravitate towards him. Like, to be a favorite.
Yep, I agree.
Jared, we just talked about a little bit.
I like Jared.
He's another guy that I consider a favorite.
I liked him from day one.
I was kind of on the fence with him day one. I would say as we've gotten a little bit more into the season so far, this first week, I've gotten to like him a little bit more. I just wish he wouldn't tie that stupid bandana around his head the way he does. Like, that's the one thing. Like, he did that on the live show tonight. And it was just so annoying. I was like, dude, I want to rip that thing off your head, man, and show you how to tie a bandana to your head. Like,
he's trying to start something new.
He ain't starting anything new. There's no way I would ever wear a bandana like that.
Bandana tied the wrong way aside. I like it.
Yeah, he's a really... I like him. He's another one of those.
I think he's placed good if he can play it well.
He's
in both alliances. He, of course, is solid in the alliance with his mom. And then on the Riley side of the alliance, they feel like he's, you know, solid with them. So if he plays this right, he could make it really far. He's got to watch his mouth. He's got to lay low a little bit.
Yep.
And just...
is it just me, or am I the only one that feels like I want to see him send his mom home? No, so, okay.
If you could see the way I'm looking at him.
No, just listen. Just... because, okay, what does everybody look at when it comes to Big Brother? When it comes down to the final two, what does everybody look at? Resume, right? Mm-hmm. Resume is one of the biggest things that they look at, like gameplay, how many comps they've won, who they've sent home. Cherie is considered probably one of the biggest targets in the house, or one of the biggest players in the house, correct? Mm-hmm. If she were to not go home and he was the one to send her home, would that not be a huge feather in his cap when it comes to, let's say he's down to final 4 or final 3, if he makes final 2, and you're sitting there and you're having that discussion with Dr. Will, and you're like, what was his biggest game move?
Okay.
You're sitting there saying, you're going to sit there and say, let's just, because we just put them, kind of in our top 2. If Jag and Jared are both sitting there, mm-hmm. and they've both done very similar on the show,
okay,
but Jared's the one that sent Cherie home, whose resume are you going to look at more and be like, he was the bigger game player? Because, I would look at it as Jared's.
I've got 2 points on that. One, who is going to vote for the guy that sent his mama home?
But how is anybody going to know that until the very tail end?
And 2, even if he did win from sending his mama home, she going to kill him afterwards, so it's not going to matter. He ain't going to send his mama home.
Well, then I hope he's ready to lose $750,000. Because here's the thing: is like everybody.
At that point, would it really matter? I mean, they're family. Would it really matter that much?
There's a part of me that feels like it would matter a little bit, because I feel like having no, just don't give me this looks. Like, here's the thing: is like, if you're looked at as like, how do you look at somebody that has finished second place in Big Brother? You don't give a shit. You don't give a shit.
Would you send your mama home?
If it's a matter of me winning $750,000 or not, you're damn right I would.
No, I wouldn't.
That's the difference. Like, when you're playing a game, like, here's the thing: is like, if you're playing a game, like, if it's real life, and I'm not like sitting here going, oh yeah, I'm gonna take money over my mother. Like, if it's a real life situation, this is a fucking game. This is a game. Like, you are literally like, this is all like about strategy and about, like, she understands this more than anybody would.
Yeah, but I guess that's what, being family in a game like Big Brother is going to be interesting to see. I wouldn't, but I feel like there would be some kind of agreement that, as a family member, that, like, we'd split the money or whatever. But, like, I wouldn't have it in me to send a family member home.
But see, like, and here's the other, and this is, so you brought up an agreement thing, and this is what would strike me extremely odd. Is, I don't know if you remember, there was a diary room session that they showed on one of the episodes on CBS. But Jared talks about that he knew his mother was coming in. Or, like, that he knew his mother was going to be a part of the game. Like, that would look very sketchy to me if they end up if he knew about it, and then 2, if the house guests, when the house guests eventually go to watch this show back, they're going to find out that, 1, Jared and her are related, but that he also knew she was coming into the house. So then, if they were to finish final 2, it looks really sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that relationship plays out.
Yeah. Moving on. Moving on to Matt. I love Matt.
I don't like Matt.
Really? You're a piece of...
I don't know. He just seems kind of...
He's deaf.
That has nothing to do with it.
You hate deaf people. That's what it is.
And episode over.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I know it's not.
I don't know what it is about him. Like...
No.
Not saying I don't like him.
Is it the looks? Is that what it is?
I don't know what it is. He just seems kind of standoffish to people. And I'm not talking about, like, when he's in a big group, and I understand that, like, he can't hear everyone and stuff like that, but even, like, talking to someone one-on-one, he just feels very, like, unconnected and just very blah with people.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's why I just don't have much to go on. Like, he doesn't give any fills or anything.
So I like the story that's behind him. And then I think, too, to a certain extent, and you brought it up, is the fact that, like, it's hard for him to be in a large group of people. So I feel like with him and him gravitating towards the other 7 that he's in that alliance with, I think has really helped him out.
Yeah, maybe he's just having a really hard time, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know. He just feels very unconnected to people and kind of emotionless.
I think that's part of what it is the fact that he's just having a little bit harder of a time acclimating himself to the rest of the house. So then moving on, we got Nicole. She was one of my favorites in the early on, but she's just kind of not been there.
Yeah, I really like her, but she's very just meh. Like, she's not really doing too much. She doesn't really talk too much. She's really nice. I'd like to see her step up her game a little bit and kind of, put herself out there.
Yeah, I
do really like her.
I liked her in the beginning. I need more from her.
Yeah.
Like, I need more, game talk. I need more, figuring out which part of the house she's going to work with going forward. Yep. Like, I need that game talk that tells me, like, are you here to fight, or are you just here to, like, kind of make a name for yourself and just, have a career outside of outside of Big Brother. So then we move on to Red, who I believe is the fakest mother of this house.
I like how his accent comes and goes,
and that's why I said he's the fakest mother effer of this house.
Well, Big Brother always does that. They have people play up a character.
Well, and I get that to a certain extent, but like him too, like he could have very easily just kept that accent and that twang going the entire time, but then he breaks in and out of it so much.
Man, that first episode, you could barely understand him because of his thick country twang, and now you see him on the live feeds talking, and it's just like anybody else. It's like, buddy, yep.
Yeah, I don't like. He's another one of those I just don't like. I don't like the fakeness of the accent, which to me, like, if you're able to, like, if you're easily going to fake an accent, what the hell else are you faking about, like, your whole story and your whole background?
Yeah, I don't really know about him. He hasn't really been talking to, too many people or doing too much. He's in the kitchen cooking a lot, and I don't know. Not really a lot to go on so far.
Yeah. And then finally we've got Riley. I want to see so she was HOH this week. I kind of want to see how she does
when she's not HOH.
When she's not HOH this week, and that'll kind of give me a really good feeling of like who I think she is and how I think she'll do. But like being HOH, I think people act totally differently towards her, and usually the HOH acts differently towards the rest of the house.
I think it's going to be really interesting because if she, as HOH, is breaking down, crying, and paranoid, what is she going to do when she's not HOH?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
I feel like she's going to lose it at some point.
Well, we've already seen that she's kind of losing it just being the HOH this week. But I want to see how she does this next week, not being the HOH.
Yeah.
And that'll kind of gauge my feelings about her.
Yeah, I don't know. There's part of me that feels like she's just very nice and genuine and like just very emotional, but then there's a part of me that kind of feels like it's fake to an extent. I just don't know about her yet.
Yeah. So then obviously we had Kristen and Luke. We're not going to talk about them too much. Kirsten, she played, like I said in the 60-second video, she just played this game way too quick, way too fast.
But one thing I will say about her is I like how she kept her composure and she kept herself on the block, knowing that people had told her, like, well, yeah, you're probably the target because you've been, this and that. She held herself together.
Yeah.
And she was nice to people. And
even going out of the house,
yeah, I'm going to give her props for that.
Yeah, because we've seen in seasons past how shitty humans can be.
I think that says a lot about the person that she is, how she was still so nice to everyone and kept herself. I really think that speaks volumes.
I would totally agree. So, finishing off, we got into the live episode tonight. Obviously, we talked about it. Kirsten goes home. Unanimous vote in the house. I hate this. It's now how Big Brother is. We've seen so many different iterations of Big Brother, and
you don't want to be the one to stand out and go against the vote.
Yeah, so like literally you get so many more unanimous votes now than you did in the past, and it's just so annoying. It's like there was a part of me, and I saw this on Twitter tonight. Janelle,
what?
Stop.
Yes,
no,
honey.
Janelle from Big Brother alumni, Janelle.
Yeah.
She talked about how, we were seeing, in that episode, how they were talking about, oh, maybe if we keep Kirsten, she's going to be a number for our side of the house and, like, all this other stuff. And so, like, she was really interested to see, like, this is not going to be a unanimous vote, the first vote of the season, and then we see 13-0. We're sitting there go.
No one ever ruffles feathers the first vote, and if they do, they are a big target.
Yeah, they literally make themselves the number one target.
That's just how it's been going.
Yeah, so Kirsten goes home first out of this season. She finds out that Jared and Cherie are mother-son, and her face literally said it all, which was, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never guessed. But then she put two and two together because there was something that somebody called Jared.
It was a nickname that someone called Jared, or Jared said something, and then Cherie said something about my son, and she said the nickname, but somehow nobody put that together.
Yeah, and so, when Julie told her that, she was like, oh, now that all makes sense. Which, thank God that. But, like, also that tells you that there is at least no battle back in the very early going.
Yeah.
Which is, like, we've seen that in the last couple seasons that they've, tried to get away from the battle back, which
I love the battle back.
I do to a certain extent too, but like,
man, without the battle back, how would Victor have come back? How many times? 3 times did he come back?
Yeah, Victor came back 3 times.
Victor was the battle back champ.
Like, I don't know how he still did. I still don't understand how he didn't end up winning that season, but no. So we don't. So we definitely are not going to see Kristen again till literally finale night, probably. But then end of the episode, we get the end of the episode, and Julie says, "Let's peek in on the house guests, and we'll say goodnight."
Yeah.
And literally, they start panning throughout the house. Not a house guest is to be seen. Julie's like, where are the house guests? And then they zoom in on the Scaryverse
ball, yeah.
Ball that is lit up red, and then the last thing the episode gives us is this big blue black hole that apparently all of the house guests have fallen into.
So apparently they're in the Scaryverse, which just means they're doing a Scaryverse competition, right? They're just...
Yeah, it has something to do with the Scaryverse. But now we also need to think about who so remember what Corey said when he came back from the scary verse earlier this week. He was like,
he got lucky, but that the next person
may not be so lucky and could potentially get stuck there forever. Forever. If somebody finishes last in this competition,
I mean, if that's not motivation to not come in last.
Yeah, I don't know what
who wants to be the one to find that out?
Yeah, so, I mean, we're sitting here now, so as of recording, it is 10:50 now. And we're sitting here towards the end of the episode.
I don't think the live feeds are up yet, but we're going to check it.
We're doing this live. I'm just checking to see if the live feeds are up. I don't assume they'll be up quite yet.
I don't think.
Nope, they're still down now, so they're obviously still doing HOH at this point. But it'll be really interesting to see, I think, tomorrow once the feeds are back up. Who's one head of household and kind of, is it still the younger folks in charge, or is it going to be the professors in charge? That'll be really interesting to see.
And if you guys don't watch the live feeds, it's not just on Paramount. You can also go on Pluto.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Pluto. So, yeah, CBS basically has this new partnership with Pluto TV. If you just set up literally an email address and password.
It does have like little short commercials, which is what CBS should be doing anyway.
Yeah.
But you don't have to pay anything, and you can watch the live feeds.
Yeah, so you can either get it on Pluto or you can get it through the Paramount Plus app, and you can watch the live feeds. It helps you out so much more when it comes to watching episodes and kind of knowing who you want to cheer
for. And you actually get to see what's happening when they have it up. So much that you don't even get to see in the episodes. So I would suggest checking out live feeds.
Yeah. All right, so that is episode 2.
Did we forget anything?
I don't think so. Let me think. So we did, eviction. Kirsten went home 13-0.
Luke left. No one really cares.
Luke left because he can't keep his mouth shut and
didn't really notice he was there anyway. So it's fine.
I always thought his name was Dave.
I know. So I was like, who is this guy? There was one day we were watching Life, and I was like, oh yeah, who's this guy? And he goes, oh, that's Dave, and I was like, oh, okay.
And then I come to find out that I was totally wrong the entire time, and his name was Luke. Okay. He just looks like a Dave. I don't know why.
I didn't even know he was there.
Yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, so that is episode 2. So guys, you guys can please, if you guys hit that subscribe button on the channel, it's just right below. Hit that subscribe button, and it'll help us out so much. You guys can follow us on TikTok, Reality Breakdown on TikTok. You can follow us on Twitter at Reality Breakdown as well there. I will try to be putting out more and more stuff on Twitter and TikTok and all those places with more Big Brother talk. We've got the Challenge USA is coming. Mm-hmm. We'll probably do some videos on that as well. There is so much reality stuff that is getting ready to start. You got Survivor starting at the end of September. We're
going to try to do as many reality shows as possible, but it's going to be hard to do more than one at a time.
Yeah, it is literally going to be extremely difficult.
We do have a 4-year-old.
Yeah, and 2, once we start getting further and further into season of Big Brother, where we're not having to talk so much about an episode because there are so little house guests left.
That's true.
Episodes will start to shorten, and so we'll be able to talk about other things. But guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. You guys can hear us on Spotify as well. Just look up the Reality Breakdown there as well. So please hit the subscribe button wherever you guys are listening to us or watching us. That would mean the world to us and would help us out immensely.
It's the best way to support the people that you watch and listen to.
Yep. Exactly. So, guys, thank you so much for listening to episode 2 of the Reality Breakdown. My name is Eric Ringel.
I'm Janelle Ringel.
And we will talk to you next week.
Bye, guys.